Hello, everyone. So today we're going to talk about independent women. And I was talking to a friend about just um, thoughts that I had while raising my daughter, and the thought came to me like, oh, independent women, and how that has gone back and forth between being seen as a positive and a negative, right? And I think for me, I have always struggled with that whole thought of like being an independent woman and then at the same time attracting a partner. How do you match those two things? Can you have both? Or does it have to be one or the other? And then I was thinking, like, why does it have to be one or the other? Because it's not that way for men, right? Like, men get to be whoever they want to be and they move along in society and in the world however they are. And then it's accepted, it's tolerated, it's acknowledged, it's affirmed, it's promoted. And with women, it always seems to be there's a struggle, right? There's always this struggle between um, the old way and modern ways. Like there's always some sense of women have to conform to something, right? And so then I think I'm always like, oh, if someone thinks I'm independent, does that mean they're gonna think, oh, I don't need a man? Which no, I don't need a man. I don't need a companion, but is someone not going to be attracted to me because oh she's independent, she can do whatever she wants, or she can move about in society however she wants, and is not looking for anyone. So check on all those things, right? But that does not mean that I can't use a companion, or I can't have a companion, or I wouldn't like a companion. So why is it that being considered an independent woman is seen as a negative, right? Wouldn't we want someone to be independent of everything, to know who they are, to be able to affirm themselves, to be able to stand in their own power, and also be able to attract a like minded individual, right? And I think it goes back to, in the back in the days of society, men like to feel needed. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but like men like to feel needed, and if a woman seems to be able to do things on her own or carry things on her own, then they feel not as much appreciated and needed. But I feel like if both individuals are able to stand on their own, then if you're in a relationship and it gets rocky and one person is down, wouldn't the other person be able to help carry and lift that load because they are strong and firm in their own power and their own strength? And now they have a partner that needs their assistance and their help. And they're like, oh, yeah, I got this. Right. So it's like 100% me and 100% my partner. Right. We are whole and healed and working on improving and expanding in our own selves. And as we do that, our partner, whole and healed and expanding on their own selves, like whatever they need to work on, they don't need someone to constantly validate who they are. And isn't that a beautiful thing to not have to constantly validate and affirm someone? Like I can add to what you already have, and I can provide you feedback and insight and love and appreciation, like adding on to whatever you have, not always having to fill that bucket. Because what I notice is that when it becomes that way, sometimes there's an individual in that relationship that is constantly scooping and the other person's constantly licking, right? They're constantly eating and consuming. And then there's an imbalance in that relationship. Whereas if we're both filling up ourselves and making sure that we're whole and completed and can be 100% in that relationship and in a mind space that we can add on an additional person into our lives to make it a further expansion, 200%, right? How much more beautiful that is and how more powerful we are in the world versus me having to be 50 and you having to be 50 and then needing someone to come together to feel completed. I don't know if that makes sense. I think it does. It does to me. Let me know what you think.